Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CAN TV Channel 21 Hotline. Let's talk etiquette. My name is Nathan Wright. I'm the Executive Director of the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Etiquette. You can call us at 312-738-1060. Give it to you again, 312-738-1060. Please give us a call. We're looking forward to hearing from you. But before you call, allow me to introduce my co-host, the wonderful, the magnificent, the extraordinary Gina Jameson.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I am so glad to have you back here at this particular date and time because of the subject that we're going to cover today. It's an awesome subject. So get ready, get your pen and pad. You may want to take notes, but this subject here you're going to really appreciate. But I'm going to put the subject up on the overhead so that you can see it, and I will go ahead and read it. Parents and concerned citizens. The Etiquette Foundation of Illinois has a solution to failing schools. Teach students the 3 R's: role, rules, and responsibility. That's a subject that's it's so absolutely necessary. And I want to just start the show out asking you, what does those 3 R's mean to you, Gina?
Well, let's just do a little history here.
Okay.
The 3 R's.
Yes.
Now, if you were, say, back in the day.
Yes.
The 3 premises of education was called reading, writing, arithmetic.
Right, yes.
But that was back in the day.
Yes.
Now we have in this 21st century a totally new dynamic. That being said, with our children, they learn differently, we're taught differently. So now Mr. Nathan and Mr. Wright and I decided, let's do something different. So
yes.
now the 3 R's are called role, rules, responsibility. Yay!
So that's what we teach our students. Their role. Give me some examples of what your role is. I know in Hollywood you have a role in a movie, you have a script to read and all of that. But how do we really try to convey what that student's role is?
Well, we have to convey to them that them being a participant in any given situation, they have a role.
Absolutely.
They have a role, they have a position, they have something that is expected of them.
Yes.
And the expectation is what the role is.
Yes. So we want them to understand, as a student in the school, which is an institution, they have a very prescribed role to play. And that's so important for them to understand that, right?
That's in any type of environment that they're in. They have a role to play.
Even if they're at the mall.
Or
in the theater.
You even have a role to play if you're sitting out eating popcorn and looking at television. You have a role to play. As a family member.
You're engaging and you're interacting
exactly
with other members of your family in your home. And you're absolutely right. You have a role to play as a child.
As a child.
It's the same as your mother and your father have a role to play as parents.
Absolutely.
This is so important for our children to understand this. Now, what about this other thing, about those rules that they have to learn?
In any situation, there are always rules. There are rules in order to keep chaos, to keep from chaos, to keep order. That's what rules are. It's just to keep order. If we know the rules, we will have order. And then when there's order, whatever there's to be taught, wherever there's a discussion, we can learn from it. And that's what the rules are. Rules are nothing but keeping order.
Now, out there, our viewers, please call in. This is some really great stuff, and this is what we teach our children in the schools so that they'll understand the value of the 3 R's. The rules, are so important because no matter what you do in this society, there's a set of rules
There's
that
a
apply.
set of rules. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, there's a set of rules.
Yes. And so today I decided, as you well know, to bring a couple of items to illustrate about rules. This book here is a rule book, and it's Rules of the Road. So if you want to learn to drive a car and get a license, you have to learn the rules.
The rules.
And,
Absolutely.
and adhere to these rules on the roadway.
And you know what's so great about that?
It's just amazing.
It's a complimentary book. There's
It
no
is.
cost.
No cost. You can go to the
See-
Secretary of State.
See how important it is?
Yes.
It is so important that you don't even have to pay to know what the rules are.
And to learn
That's just
them.
how important it is.
It is. It's life or death.
It's life or death.
Yes, people are dying every day on the roads for not adhering to the rules.
Not adhering to the rules.
And so that's just fundamental to our humanity.
Exactly.
It's just fundamental to who we are and what we hope to become. And so we believe at the Etiquette Foundation that the schools should teach the 3 R's.
Well, let's talk about responsibility.
Now, I wanted to ask you about
Okay, I'm
that
sorry.
rule. What about this thing called responsibility?
Okay.
Talk to us about that.
Responsibility. Playing a part of a role,
Okay. Your role, okay.
knowing the rules,
2, knowing the rules.
that's your responsibility.
Ah, I get it. So if I learn my role and the rules and demonstrate that I'm a responsible person by adhering to those rules,
The 3 R's, absolutely.
then I'm being responsible.
Absolutely.
And that's the same on the roadway.
Same on the roadway.
If I'm driving the speed limit, then I'm being responsible.
And we'll take the rules of the road and driving. I don't think that until we become absolutely aware of how it is important to be responsible once you get behind that wheel.
Yes.
Because it's a life and death situation.
Certainly you have a lot of responsibility. Not only for your own safety.
But for those that are in your environment.
Yes,
The
yes.
person in front of you, behind, on the side.
Yes.
And that's the same thing with etiquette.
Yes.
Exactly the same thing.
It's a rule book.
It's a rule book.
Teaching you your role in society.
Because you are responsible for that which is in front of you, behind of you, and on the side.
Yes, yes.
See how
yes.
that all intertwines?
It
It's
works
just
together.
such one magnificent,
Yes,
basic
yes,
entity.
absolutely. So those educators who are watching us this evening, please call the Etiquette Foundation. We have curriculum. We have it all written out and articulated and tested. It works. Role, rules, and responsibility. And the child, the students, once they get it, they get it. They understand it. It's not complicated. But you have to teach them that. And if you do that and consistently maintain those 3 R's in your program and in your curriculum, you're going to produce outstanding students.
Absolutely. And that's some things that our children don't understand. They don't understand the 3 rules.
They don't
A role,
understand.
rules, and responsibility. The 3
No.
R's, I'm sorry.
No.
The role. And once you start teaching it, then they say, a light
Yes,
bulb comes
I get
on.
it. Yes.
It's like, I don't
We
need
see
a
it.
role model. I need to be the role.
You're the role.
You're the role. So don't expect someone else to show you to be like that person. Be yourself and do it as with a role.
Absolutely.
Because you're abiding by the rules and you're
abiding.
taking
And you
responsibility
take it for yourself.
for
your behavior.
For yourself. And that's the first law of nature.
Absolutely, it certainly is. And oftentimes when I'm teaching etiquette in the classroom and I tell the students that you have a role to play, I tell them that the teacher has a role to play, that the janitor in the school has a role to play, that the lady in the cafeteria has a role to play. She has to be responsible. She has to show up on time. She has to prepare your meal properly, sanitarily, and she has to serve you when you come into the cafeteria. That's her role. And it's based on learning the rules of feeding students and then the responsibility that goes with it, so we can be certain she's going to show up to work tomorrow.
Exactly. So that we can be fed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We need her.
Exactly.
She's important.
And that's another thing, because each individual is important, and we want to teach, especially our children, how important they are in this whole dynamic of the life,
Yes,
of life,
civilization,
of the existence,
society.
civilization, and that's
Yes.
where civility comes in.
That's where civility comes in.
Oh, we're just going right back to our basic.
Yes, and it's hard to understand why public schools have not adopted this. It's just so sad that they haven't adopted this, and it's not complicated. It's not complicated at all.
It's so basic.
It's basic to being human and being civilized.
Exactly.
And that's why we have dozens of etiquette books, which actually talk about the role, about the rules, and about the responsibility. But why don't we do this? Why don't we look at some of these little quips here we have to read? I'll let you read those if you like. Yes.
Learning the role of a student in the school.
Okay.
Learning the rules of behavior for a student.
Yes.
Learn the role, rules, and responsibility in being a successful student.
I mean, when we teach this and when we read this and talk about this in our classes, you can see the eye at this book. They sitting there like, oh, I'm just enjoying this. I'm learning something. I'm getting it. I'm understanding what my role is. We all have a role to play.
And then I think what it also teaches our children is that they are important.
That's so key. They are invaluable.
They're just invaluable, and you are so important. I think that's what's kind of lost in our environment now. We don't know how important we are.
That's so true.
And it's so important. Each individual has a certain part in making this world more beautiful.
Yes, yes. And I think when a child understands, from our own experience, once they understand they have a role to play, they love it. They love it. They want to play their role. It's like a script in a movie. You want to play it the best you can play it. You know, and so if you have questions, they ask us questions all the time about, am I doing this the right way, Mr. Nathan or Mr. Wright? You know, or Miss Jameson, is this the way how I should do it? And of course, you too as well. We tell them these things. Like yesterday in my class, I was doing a fine dining class and teaching them how to roll and lift their forks, right? And one of the young men, he was sitting in his seat like this, sloping. You know, and I said, you know, your role is to sit up straight. Look dignified. You know, if you're sloping like this, then you look like you're not happy. You look like you are lost. So your role is to sit up and look like you're important and feel good about yourself. Self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
So that gave me an opportunity to go into that and talk about, he's straightened up in his seat and smile on his face. And, you know, so that our students connect.
They connect.
With
they
that.
Connect.
And so that's so important. And we make that a part of what we teach. To give you an example, Gina, I brought a copy of our classroom etiquette. Would you like to put that up?
Yes.
Why don't we put that up there?
Put that up.
And so we can share that.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, so they can see. Now, every student gets a copy of this. And the reason for it is because we want them to put it in their notebook. And we also post one on the board in each classroom. So when they come in the classroom, they all know what the rules are, classroom etiquette. We're all on the same page. And I know it's important for the parents to teach their children how to behave, teach them etiquette. Okay, I understand how important that is, and they should do it, and we're encouraging the parents to do that. But in the classroom, because there's 30 other individuals in there with your child, they may not have had the same lesson that you're teaching your child, with the commitment that you're teaching your child. So it's necessary in the classroom with 30 other individuals, who all are individuals, so that they can all be on the same page with the rules.
And just to add to that, we have to teach our children expectation.
Yes.
This is what we expect from you.
Yes.
And that's with any place that you go. If you go on a job, there's expectations.
Yes.
If you meet our expectation, we'll pay you a salary.
Yes.
There's a give
You're
and
rewarded.
take.
Yes.
You're rewarded.
Yes.
So with the expectations that we teach, the reward is self-esteem, confidence.
Confidence, yes.
And being an upright citizen.
Yes.
And being able to articulate, being able to do and go wherever you want to go. And what it does, it also does take your mind to go to do different things, to want to try different things.
Right.
All of when you start teaching, you expect things. I expect this from you.
Yes.
And this is what I expect from you.
And you feel good about yourself.
And you feel good about
because
yourself.
your contribution to whatever that is, your colleagues, your coworkers, they feel good about your participation in what they are doing and the success of what they are doing.
And then you get to the point they really want to see you come. That's it. Oh, here comes so-and-so.
I'm so glad to see
It's like,
her.
okay, everybody get defensive because he's going to do this, he's going to be disruptive,
Right.
he's going to do all these negative things.
Yes.
But when they see you coming with confidence,
Yes.
and when you're learning all of these 10 points, when you have mastered them, people will say, I enjoy this person being in my company.
Absolutely.
And then when you have it as being a child, how many adults can say that?
Not many.
Not many.
Not many.
Not many.
And the key is to be successful in this society, you need to learn these rules. Because they're going to determine your character, they're going to determine what your values are, and they're going to determine what your commitment is as an individual to the organization. We're an organization. It's called the United States of America. And there's 300 million of us in this organization.
And what this does, and just to take it a little further, you never know who's watching you.
And in the days back in the day, we didn't have all these cameras watching you everywhere you turn.
And you never know who's watching you to say, I think I would like that child to be on my team.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
Whatever it might be, says,
Yes.
I think I would like that person. That person can enhance whatever my entity is.
Absolutely. And that child has the right attitude. So I'm going to put this up so we can take a look at this.
Let's take a look at this.
Okay, you want to start with those?
Okay, the classroom etiquette.
Yes.
1, enter the classroom quietly. 2, quietly take your seat. 3, once seated, all conversation stops. 4, raise your right hand if you have a question. Speak only after you have received permission from the classroom teacher. 5, do not do anything to disrupt or distract your fellow classmates. 5, pay attention to your teacher. 6 is pay attention to your teacher. 7, listen to all instructions given to you. 8, never blurt out or cross-talk during class.
Yes, so important.
I need to read that one again. 8, never blurt out or cross-talk during class. 9, do nothing that may be considered disrespectful to a fellow student or to your classroom teacher. And 10, once class has been dismissed, proceed from the classroom in a quiet and orderly manner. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yes. And they love this. They stand and they read it aloud, and we ask them questions about which one they like the best and which one they think is most important. So we engage them in interacting with these rules because we want them to instill these rules within themselves.
Absolutely.
So that they can then not have to read them 6 months from now. They would then know what they are to do as part of what? Their role.
Their role.
Following the rules. And being responsible. That's an ingenious idea. I'm hoping those out there who are listening really pass this information on. At the very least, talk about it with your friends, with your family, even with your nieces and nephews if they're in school, or if you're a parent, your child is in school. Talk to them about this. Call us, the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois. Contact us. You can contact Gina and her organization. So why don't we put yours up first so that people can get your information right off. And you can go ahead and share that with them.
Our foundation is Two Touch of Life, and I can be contacted at twotouchoflifeevents@gmail.com. I'm the president of To Touch of Life, and our phone number is 708-212-1645.
Oh, great, great, great. Read that number again. So
the number again
yes.
is 708-212-1645.
Please give her a call with any idea you may have, or you want to learn something about gardening. That's the number to call. Absolutely. Of course, Let's Talk Etiquette. You can contact us at 312-473-2942. 312-473-2942. And I do have a list of etiquette books that if you choose to call in and contact us at that number, I would be more than happy to provide that list to you. Every home needs an etiquette book.
Every home needs an etiquette book.
If you don't have an etiquette book, how are you going to teach your children what the rules of this society are? You need to go to a book just like a math book. You know, you need to teach what the rules of math are that's recognized universally.
And I don't think people understand this is recognized universally. The way our nation is set up through European.
Yes.
So, that being said, so then we have to follow the rules that we are of the European dynamic.
Yes. Yes.
And that's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
And we have to do those things and do those things properly.
And those rules are awesome. I really have
awesome.
Great admiration for my European brothers and sisters who spent 2,000 years developing this set of rules for us to behave and to have a place in the society. And the reason, Gina, I don't have a problem with the rules of etiquette based on that culture, that customs, is because we speak the English language. English from England.
Right.
This is the language we speak. So to articulate ourselves, we have to use the words that they developed. It's their language.
It's their language.
And so to respect their language is to respect our ability to communicate. And if we do that, then we're able to understand the rules of this society. They're really they're great rules.
They're great rules.
Really they are. If this society adhered to those rules, we wouldn't have people in prison.
Right.
There wouldn't be no reason for people to be in prison.
Right.
Because there wouldn't be no crime. So
exactly.
So it's just that simple. If I respect you and you respect me, and I pose you no harm, so why would I be breaking the law?
What?
Wouldn't be no need to break the law.
That's just too simple.
It's just that simple. But if I'm not taught those rules, then I'm subject to be disrespectful.
Yes.
Ill-mannered.
Yes.
Impolite.
Yes.
And a threat to you. And I should never be a threat to anyone else.
And unfortunately,
if I'm following the right rules.
And that's what is not taught.
It's not what is.
It's not what is taught, and that's why we're on this campaign.
Yes.
Going through the schools, because that's where we can get the better audience.
Yes. The
neediest. In the school, and then the right. You know, we get the neediest audience.
Right.
That really needs this, and it's just so simple.
It's simple. And I would go as far as to challenge our leadership in this city.
Yes.
Take us up. Try it out 1 year in one school. Out of the 500 schools, you have one school. Try it for a year. And then pre-test. So you know what they knew when you started. And post-test at the end of the school year. Get the assessment of the teachers. Get the assessment of the parents. What do you see improvement in your child's behavior?
Absolutely.
Okay, if you see improvement in your child's behavior and the grades reflect it, the grades are going to go. If you're listening to your teacher and you're not being distracted and you're focused, you're going to learn.
You're going to learn.
It's just, you're going to learn. But if you're getting all distractions and not understanding what your role is, and
not being responsible
as a human being.
As a human being, more than just a human being.
Right. So we know that this works. And it's so hard to understand why our leadership out here in the community don't understand that it does work. They can come into my classroom, they can come into your classroom, and they can see for themselves. You don't take our word for it. Come and see.
Come and see.
That's not difficult. Just take a few minutes of your time. Sit 10 minutes. 10 minutes in my class, and you'll say, this is something here. They own to something. I see it.
And I always say, never form an opinion unless you've exercised it.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
You can never say, well, I'm not going to do that or this. Not. Have you tried it?
Have you tried
That's
it?
all I'm asking you to do.
Try it.
Is just try it. That's all.
That's all.
Then form your opinion.
Then
and
you
there's
can
nothing
say,
I can say but that.
No. Then you can say, well, I was impressed. I didn't see any difference.
Exactly.
Those kids they were sitting there looking polite, and I suppose they should look that way.
Right.
But I don't know if these people here had anything to do with it.
Exactly.
Go to the classroom next door.
Just go to the classroom. Absolutely. Right. The classroom that we're not in.
Right. Go sit in 2 other classrooms and see if you come with the same opinion. Well, our time is about up. Already. Darn it. I'm having such a good time.
Having such a great time.
This is a subject I want you, please, to contact myself or contact Ms. Jameson, and let's talk about it. Let's make it a subject worthy of talking about. I'm personally available to come to your organization meetings, your school meetings, parent meetings, whatever. I'm willing to come and talk to those individuals who make the decisions to let us come in there and prove that our children can learn and they could be outstanding citizens and contribute to this great nation. They just need a chance.
Exactly. And guess what? You might just see me with Mr. Wright.
Yes.
I just might be there with him.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I'm going to close by thanking you so much for tuning us in this evening. Look for us next week. We'll be here at the same time. And have a great weekend. Enjoy the game. Is there a game on? That's why we're not getting any calls. Is there a baseball game? No.
Right. Something's going on.
Well, I understand, but look, go on YouTube. Go to cantv.com or .org, whichever .org, and you can pull our show up if you missed it. Okay. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a great evening.